All right. Good morning. Good morning. All right. I think we're on. Hello, folks. Good morning to you guys. Good to see you there. Let me know if it's all coming in all right. I'm down in sunny Melbourne today. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Monday, the 24th of October. Hey, good morning, Jeff and Alison, Shelley. Hey, Shelley, I'm away for a week. Let's catch up in a week's time. I got your message. But thanks for joining us this morning, folks. Good to see a bunch of you guys on already this morning. Quick intros, if you don't already know, most of you do. But if you're new, if you're dropping by, Jason's my name. Jason Witten's my name. Been property investing well over 20 years and helping property investors well over 20 years as well through coaching, mentoring, and some education. So what we do each day on a weekday, we get together at around about, let's call it. Look at that. That works, doesn't it? Around about 10 past 8 each workday and have a bit of a catch up, bit of a talk about what's going on out there in the property market. There's always something interesting. As property investors, we know that this thing's going to take some time, right? It's about going the distance with real estate investing, especially if you want a passive income, you want some wealth, you want something to do all right for you in the future. Property is great, but it takes some time. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Most of you know that already. And if you don't, well, welcome to the realization. Anyway, there you go. Morning, Bob, Tim, Donna. Good to see you guys on this morning. Yeah, well, listen, let's dive into it. Let's have a bit of a chat about what's in the news, and the old media out there making a little bit of a fist of it at the moment. Well, they're always making a fist of it, aren't they? They're always carrying on like pork chops, to be honest. Check this one out here. Secret RBA modeling. Secret. It's no secret. Anyway, it's rubbish. But anyway, secret RBA modeling shows the 20% drop in house prices coming. Wow. In the marketplace or in the world of media, this is not new, is it? This is not new. Tell me in the chat, who have you heard something from of recent times? Who's the sources of this wonderful information, which is, chooses to be one-dimensional when it comes to the information that they're sharing. I saw one the other day, the CBA, 20 to 30% drop in house prices, right? And we've talked about this. We've chatted, and if you haven't, if this is the first time you've heard me talking about these things? Well, go back and have a look for some of the chats we've had in the past, Wealth Coffee chats. Most of these predictions, conversations, pontifications coming from the media or institutions are very one-dimensional. Very one-dimensional. What's the only thing? What's the only thing that they are making these headlines, these conversations, these allegations? What do you want to call them anyway? These predictions. Let's call them predictions because they're rubbish. Tell me, what is the one thing? There's one dimension that they are talking about that they believe is going to adjust the house prices 20%. What's the one thing? There's only one thing that they're talking about, which we all know it's not about one thing, is it? It's not about the only thing, one thing that's going to make the difference. Tell me in the chat right now, what is the thing that these institutions, RBA, Commonwealth Bank, Westpac, all of these institutions, what's the one thing they're talking about? Put that in the chat for me, folks. Yeah, interest rates. Yeah, they're talking about the interest, right? Interest rates, exactly. And so that's all they're talking about. They're talking about interest rates. If people's ability to borrow goes down, so this is servicing, right? The ability to borrow goes down and interest rates go up. It's a fait accompli. It's absolutely fait accompli that, that property prices are going to plummet, right? Right now, they're not talking about inflation. To be honest, Bob, the other way around, inflation would technically put a bit of pressure on property prices because the cost of property to construct a property has gone up, right? So there you go. Anyway, one-dimensional, but it's not one-dimensional, is it? It's not one thing that's going to go, the interest rates have gone up, everybody shit themselves. That's bloody absolute rubbish, absolute trollop when it comes to the world of property investing. Let's talk about the things that we know we need to check in on when it comes to the world of investing and making sure we can what these things in the future. All right. Number one, what are the 6 key things that we're looking at as investors that will underwrite some of the things, either the prices going up, prices going sideways, prices going down? Let's talk about values, but there's 2 things we're going to talk about here. Let's talk about the 6 key drivers. What are the 6 key drivers in the marketplace that we got to keep an eye on and go, yeah, okay, understand what's happening there? Number one, first one, easiest one, the simplest one is certainly the interest rates. When interest rates go up, it creates, immigration, population in a moment, or interest rates go down, right? At the moment, interest rates are going up, and that's a challenge for us as investors. It's a challenge for anyone who wants to buy a property because their ability to borrow has gone down, all right? And by and large, the ability to borrow has gone down. So the price point, if you could afford 600 6 months ago and now it's 500, where are you buying? You're buying $500,000 properties, and those sellers at 600 have got less buyers. It doesn't, and it's not meaning that they're going to drop their price to 500. Let's face it, folks. Like, that's bullshit. It's rubbish. Complete and absolute trollop that somebody who bought a property for 600 wants to sell it is going to drop their price to 500. That's not going to happen. All right. They're not going to dust 20% like that. All right. Interest rates. What else in the world of, for us, the simple one, the easy ones when it comes to, this stuff. So interest rates, what's going on out there for us in the world, right? Supply and demand, right? Where are we sitting with that? Supply is down, all right, and demand is up, all right. Why is that? Because I'm going to have a look at this. Something is going on with immigration. Absolutely. The world of population, folks. Population And more importantly right now, immigration. Let's have a look at this in a second. This is going to be a big winner, okay, when it comes to this. Not only is the supply down, supply is down in the world of not only rentals but construction. So we're looking at that. The economics. That's where inflation is actually putting the prices up, right? Inflation is not flat or sideways, okay? By and large, inflation is kind of like it's a hindrance and a help at the same time when it comes to property prices. What's happened with inflation, not the values, but the cost of construction has gone up, right? So, we're sitting there going, right, things are more expensive to buy because the supply chains are an issue and those sorts of things when it comes to these things out there. What else are we looking at when it comes to the world of our drivers in the world of real estate? Well, employment. Well, people are employed. The lowest unemployment we've ever seen. And last but not least, we're talking about politics. Who's the number one lunatic? Who's the number one enemy? Number one enemy of your wealth is the politicians, all right? They change things so many times. Politicians, the APRAs, the ASICs, the state and government pollies when they're changing taxes. The loonies up in Queensland. Oh, let's break the law and let's double tax people when it comes to land taxes. Like, you're kidding me? All right. So let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at where we are when it comes to this stuff. Well, just check out supply and demand right now. All right. Let's have a look at the world of the property listings. Let's look at what's going on with rentals in. Check this out. Like, seriously. Now, they're hey, good morning, Sonia, Tim, Luke. Check this out. Like, they're not talking about these. Like, since the pandemic, rental listings down across the country. The number of properties listed for rent, folks. Like, look, have a look at this number. It's close to 50% drop. Now let that land. 50% reduction in the number of properties available for rent. Come on now. And what else? What's just happened, ladies and gents? What's just happened with the interest rates going up? For the first time in years, it's instead of owning, right, the cost to own now costs more than it costs to rent. Watch this space, folks. Right. It used to be easier to go buy your own place. If you could get the loan, now it's actually more cost effective to rent. All right. So they're not talking about this. They're not talking about 50% reduction. They're not talking about the lowest vacancy rates we have ever seen in Australia's history. Right. Crazy times, folks. Crazy times. Hey, morning, Hardik. All right. What else is going on? Let's have a look at this. There we go. In the capital cities, right? They're all down. Low vacancy rates. You have a look at, Brisbane and Perth, crazy times. Melbourne and Sydney are a little bit higher because they have a lot more higher density dwellings in the city. But who stays in those high dwellings in the city, folks? Tell me. The vacancy rate in Melbourne and Sydney, like, because it's a little bit higher, right? 1.5 to 1.6 compared to the rest of the country. Folks, it is under 1%, the rest of the country, for rentals. So tell me, who rents the high density stuff often? It's a terrible building, isn't it? I stop drawing, Jason. But who rents these things? Yep, boom, Chris. And look at this, team. All right, look at this. Right, I just went to a Tourism Australia talking about talking about the world of tourism and visas and people coming back into the country. And I posted this the other day, right? In the mentoring group. So, right now, this is where we are. This is where we are right now. We're having a recovery, right? Have a look at where we used to be for students, right? Have a look at where we used to be for students, folks. All right, it's back on like Donkey Kong, right? Have a look at where the government have said, all right, this is 300,000. That is, call that 800,000. Okay. So right now, I'm going to put my glasses on. I remember this. All right, here we go. So call this 40,000. We're at 200,000 for students. So 200,000 for students, and we're at 40,000 for immigration, skills, whatever, right? And then we're going to have double that because we're going to have working holiday makers and skills, right? Check this out. So if you go, all right, we're going to get at least an increase per year of 600,000 people, right? That's a lot. We're going to get an increase here, call that 260 plus another 260,000. You add this up. You add that up. That's over 1 million people, folks. That's over 1 million people. 1 million people to come into the country in the next 2 years. The next 2 years, 1 million people in the country. Plenty of jobs for everyone. No houses being built. Not enough. We've got a massive undersupply in construction also. There's nowhere to rent. No one's talking about that. They're not talking about that. They're talking about, just because Bob and Mary can't borrow, the property prices are going to plummet. What bullshit. Absolute bullshit. You know what's going to happen? The supply chain's going to get worse. And people who've got properties, well, they're just going to sit on them. Why would you sell? Why would you sell? The rent boom is underway, folks. The property prices to construct the property is not going to go down. Where are we going to put them, Sonia? I've been saying this for a long time, for years actually. Since APRA messed with the supply chain badly, it really wrecked our construction industry when it comes to supply. Anyway, they chased money off. Anyway, I'm not going to go back there and talk about that today. Today, I'm going to stick on this because we've almost time up. Where are they going to live? So property prices going down 20%, I think is bullshit. Is it harder to borrow? Yes. You will see adjustments in borrowing coming your way at some point because the lenders and banks will need to be able to lend money. APRA will loosen up. Interest rates will come down sometime next year, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, there you go. That's my call. This malarkey about, interest rates only being the only thing in this world. Nah, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. There's plenty of other things that'll happen. Anyway, there you go. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Over and out. Over the next couple of days, I may or may not be doing the Wealth Coffee Chats on time. I'm in Melbourne, so I might start a bit earlier. There you go. Anyway, I've started at Queensland time, which is, anyway, this daylight savings is a pain in the ass. Anyway, join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. You guys be awesome. That's it from me. Take care. Bye for now. See ya.